Hello, it's me. I always feel like I started that way and it's like, it's me. So today I'm interviewing someone a little bit different. I'm interviewing Hannah of Hannah and Decanted, Hannah Decanted. And she's a wine marketer and a wine influencer, and she's from Alaska and she lives here now. All the fun stuff. She's actually here right now because we're shooting a bunch of, hey Katie, shooting a bunch of content for some stuff coming up, which I'm really excited about. And today we're drinking some Smith Devereaux Vacationer. She's right here, so she's definitely not outside because she's here right now. But cheers, you guys. Cheers to Wednesday at noon. I love Smith Devereaux wine. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with Ian. He does a lot for the community, but also makes good wine. Oh, she's here. So this is our first non-winemaker, and I'm happy it's her because we're friends too. So she's joining. Oh.
It's so bright out. I need to wear shades.
She's wearing my husband's sunglasses. He's going to want commission off this now.
I say USA, America.
There you go. Well, cheers.
Cheers.
How are you?
It's just so bright out. I'll try not to wear them as much so everybody can see our faces, but I am doing good. Nope, too bright. It's my future.
Yeah. It's fine. I feel like it works.
Exactly.
The
How are
ends
you?
of those are actually a bottle cap opener.
You guys.
That is
I
why.
will be stealing these later on today.
Yes.
Oh my God, I actually do need these.
Yes, for sure.
Exactly.
Well, anyway, thank you for joining me. This is Hannah of Hannah Decanted. She can't take herself seriously right now because she is.
I'm popping bottles with my new sunglasses.
I'm here for it. It's fine with me. I'm totally okay with it. I'm not that kind of control freak. But so as a marketer and wine influencer, I want to talk a little bit about that. So you were not this forever. Tell us a little bit about where you came from and how you got to where you are.
So I am originally from Alaska. And in Alaska, I actually had my own hair salon where I had a clientele and was doing hair all day. So highlighting, cutting, the whole 9 yards, and was doing that. And I absolutely loved it. It was a blast, had amazing clients / friends, because that's what happens when you work in the industry. As we all know, who knows our most secrets? Our therapists and our hairdressers. Mm-hmm. So there you go. So I absolutely loved it. And the pandemic hit and I was bored. And I always had intrigue with wine. I love traveling. I love an excuse to go see new places, drink new wines or any kind of liqueur. Mm-hmm. So I just started having fun with it on Instagram and met some new people. And then I had different wineries reach out to me like, wow, you're doing something completely different. You're in freaking Alaska. You're edgy. You're kind of crazy out there. Short blonde hair, just kind of like, woo! Let's do this attitude. And then from there, it kind of just escalated into its own morph thing where I started showing up for different wineries and I started hosting a happy hour on every Thursday where my main focus was boutique wineries, meaning I would only do smaller wineries and bring more awareness to them to a group of about 20 to 30 people every single Thursday from all over the United States.
So you got into wine because you were bored when you were shut down during the first shutdown in Alaska, right?
I always had my pipe dream since I was a young girl was that I would live in California. I would live the California dream. I'm Miley Cyrus, like, hello, California. This is my dream. Like, it's always been the joke, like, even my family is, I'm so freaking California. So there was always, like, that part of me. I was like, oh, I'll end up in it. And so I didn't know where that would be or what it would look like. And so there's that kind of, like, what better time? So the pandemic hit and made me sit there and sit with myself and kind of, like, instead of just being super depressed and where I was at in life, which I was. I will own that. I definitely had to sit there, be very introspective. And I was like, what am I going to do? Like, I can be stuck and miserable in Alaska Alaska is gorgeous. I will throw that out. But for me, it was more of the fact of I can be stuck anywhere in the world. Why would I want to be stuck inside in a cold, dark, depressing place?
Jared.
And I made the joke. I made the joke to my family. I was like, just so you're aware, if we do a lockdown 2.0, I was like, I will not be here. I was like, I'll be living with my friend Kelly, who just logged in. I was like, I'll be living in Manhattan Beach with Kelly, and that's how I'm going to do lockdown. I'm not doing it here. So that's honestly where I came up with, like, why not jump now? Did I have anything really planned out? No. And I remember the first time I met Erica, I didn't have anything planned out. I literally just was like, California? Yes. Wine? Sure. I've made some amazing connections through the pandemic and naturally being a social butterfly. I was like, let's do this. Hello. And so honestly, everybody's kind of fallen into my place, and I feel super blessed to be able to say that.
So everyone's confused about the sunglasses. Jared is dying. So Jared, she needed sunglasses because it's really bright in our backyard.
It's my future, you guys. It's so bright. I need shades.
So,
yeah, so the sunglasses are very confusing for me too, but I really like them.
The question I have for you is, you have some credentials. So did you have those before you decided to do this? So there was already some wine.
Yeah, wine has always been part of my life. Especially wine specifically, yes. It's always a good fun party trick as well. Like when you're hanging out, drinking with your family or with friends, being like, oh, actually, this is shot noof to pop. Like those kinds of things. I always like a good trivia moment. I have to pride myself in that. Of like, I'm not just a great drinker. I actually am smart as well.
So you got your certification so you could have something to talk about?
I didn't know where I was going to go with it. Like, okay, so originally I was like, I'll own a I will open. This was my original plan, was before the pandemic hit, I was going to open a distribution company in Alaska for boutique wineries. So I actually did all the paperwork, all the stupid money to open a distribution up in Alaska. And that was going to be Decanted Distribution, hence Hannah Decanted. So that was my original name. And I was going for that. And, well, the laws in Alaska for opening alcohol and liquor are freaking ridiculous and out of control. And so that just wasn't working out. And then I was really over Alaska, and I went from a vacation to visit some of my friends in California to a one-way ticket to, I don't know where I'm going to live. I'm going to be homeless in California and figure out the rest of my life.
So the first time I saw you, it was the trash can reel. I think it was a reel. It might have been before.
Yeah, but it was a reel. Yeah.
And it was something that I definitely want to touch on because you've been, critiqued, attacked, whatever you want to call it. So you do this reel where you're jumping out of a trash can and you say, if you guys want to call me trashy, like, here, I'll put myself in a trash can.
Yes, that did happen. I know that was definitely something that caught everybody off guard. I was for a season getting a lot of DMs and comments, and thank God I have such a strong crew on here of people calling me trashy, calling me a wine hoe. You used to be something and now you're nothing, et cetera, et cetera. And I was at first, and people on there will probably know, I was like so like devastated. Like I'm super sensitive. I was like, I can't believe you're actually calling me out, objectifying me in this way. And I sat down with my parents. I was like, oh my God, I'm a family girl. And my dad's like, Hannah, seriously, move on. So I drove up to their house one day in Alaska. And I looked at my dad and I said, Dad, I want you to film me hopping out of a trash can. And he's like, excuse me, Hannah? And I was like, they want to see trashy. I'm going to show them Sesame Street trashy Hannah. And he was like, is this a joke? So that's like the fun part of it, is that actually my dad filmed me on the edge of their property of me and him zooming in. It was like the jokes. My sister and her husband were like, oh my God, only Hannah. And I was like, seriously? And Mariah Carey, why are you guys so obsessed with me? I'm just some girl from Alaska. Call me trashy, call me a wine hoe. Comments are comments, people.
It's something that I think is really interesting because wine has been this like elegant, classy like beverage for years. And I, to be honest, I think that's part of its downfall and why it's been losing market share, because people associate it with like snootiness, right? And so I think the up and comers of like the drinking age people are like not looking for that. And so if you were a beer person, that I have a feeling that would have never happened. Like people have a totally different perspective from like that industry. And so it's something that I really liked, that you just like went head on and said, hey, here I am. This is me. Like just unapologetically you. And I think that that is really brave. And I think that it's important for people to see and, you know, acknowledge, why are you judging someone for just being themselves, you know?
Exactly. And that's what I will say is there's always still, even like when I go to parties and stuff, when I bring wine, like I will always start with a beer because it's always that moment of like, that's what you do. Like I'm in my 20s, I'm not in my 50s. Like you don't naturally grab a glass of wine. Like I'm not that person. Like let's chug a beer and then I'll probably go to wine and like shots for the rest of the night.
Right.
Where like that's who I am. And I've accepted that and I've learned to more of enjoy that part of me. And kind of that reel was the breakthrough point of, yeah, maybe I'm trashy or a wine hoe, but it's like, I can't help it.
Yeah.
I'm fun. That's how I say it. I'm actually more fun.
Well, and when I was in my 20s, I know you and I have talked, I played beach volleyball every day. So it was like a second uniform to be in a bikini. And I was just like super comfortable in that world. And so if I look back on Facebook, like to my 20s, like every single weekend shot, I'm in a bikini. We're drinking, someone just asked, we are drinking the Vacationer from Smith Devereaux. They're a Napa
I
winery.
think they have none left too. I think they just sold out last week.
They're releasing a new one though. I think they're releasing or they're going to bottle soon or something. But
Sunglasses are going back on. Sorry, guys.
so, yes, I think that that's just really, that's great that especially like, so I have a daughter, right? So I'm raising a daughter. So it's just things that I think about. And I love taking your photos because you're really brave and daring and you want to do new things and you want to make it extra, like it's on purpose because you're marketing wine. Like, so you want the wine industry to get attention. And so you're actually probably appealing to a very different like group of people than the classic people that have already been drinking wine. Like, why are we trying to market people that are already drinking wine?
Mm-hmm.
They're already consumers, they're already believers. Like, that's great. But like, I feel like you're actually brilliant in the sense that you're marketing people that are maybe beer drinkers or spiked seltzer drinkers or whiskey, you know, I mean, you're broadening the market truly, in my opinion.
Oh, I completely agree. Like even in Alaska, I would go fishing, like halibut fishing and salmon fishing, whereas their typical beer drinking, truly White Claws, instead showing up with a cute bottle of wine. I always got like the wine glasses, like feeling yachty naughty and those kinds of cute little play on words. And I was always the girl on the boat catching the 200-pound halibut, drinking some Chardonnay because, well, it sounded good.
Yeah.
And so definitely opening up that it doesn't have to be this demographic. If you want to have fun, you don't need to be doing a beer. Instead, why not open that bottle of rosé? You're gonna get 4 glasses out of it. It's just like drinking 4 beers.
Right. But stronger.
You know what? I'm always having more fun in every group I've been in. That is the one thing I will say. I definitely am always having fun.
That's awesome. So let's talk about where you're going. Like, so right now you're in California, you're making your own wine. When is that going to get bottled?
So I, like, the whole story of me is like coming here, not knowing what I was going to do, et cetera, and things are falling into its place. And I feel so blessed to be able to even say that. And it's just been amazing being able to see that things are aligning themselves in ways I could never, ever imagine in a million years. But I started working a harvest with Lepe Sellers, so Miguel, and I actually had him on my happy hour back when the pandemic started. So all like the crazy things of how it all intermixes. And I asked him if I could work 3 weeks of harvest because that's the only time I was planning to be in California was 3 weeks, mind you. And so then I never left. And so then I was hanging out with you, Erica, and a winemaker was like, hey, what about you making your own wine? I was like, dude, like, I know what I'm good at, and it's not science. And that's what winemaking is. I need to stay in my own lane. And then from there, I talked to him, Erica, and then Miguel. And I am now making a Pinot Noir that's from St. Lucia Highlands, so SLH, 115 clone, if anybody is curious. And I never in a 20 million years would have thought I would be making my own wine, let alone a Pinot, which is one of the most complex wines ever. And I feel super blessed to be able to say that I'm doing that. And that's going to be bottled in August.
And what's so cool too is like you're actually making it. Like a lot of people have labels that I don't know if people know that. So the wine industry, another reason why I think it's harder for people to wrap their minds around is because there's custom crush facilities with a winemaker. or two or whatever, and they're actually making the wine for the that's the project.
Yeah.
And so it's really common. That's actually very common. And so it'll say produced and bottled by or whatever. I've seen myself, you are actually making the wine.
Yeah.
And spilling the wine, if I might have.
Oh my gosh, no, totally. Like and that's part of like also just of being who I am, of like the trashy wine hoe and all that jazz of being Hannah, is that I don't know what I'm doing. And even my friends hang out with me, I'm like, hey, story this. I'm like, it's a one take wonder. Like, we get what we get and we do not throw a fit kind of thing. That's how I was raised. And so if it's me spilling half the barrel on the ground, well, that happened. Or whatever, and it's been fun to actually figure out and show off like the mistakes that do happen, which I feel like so many times we try to make everything look so glamorous in the wine industry of look at me and my beautiful Chanel flap with like my perfect. It's like, no, I'm real. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm going to own it firsthand, but I've got this awesome team behind me who's helping me.
And then you also make it look really good too. I mean, let's just call a spade a spade. I mean, you look good while you're doing it.
Yeah, and the fact it also helps I'm really willing to laugh at myself as well. That is the thing I would tell anybody. If you can't laugh at yourself, then you probably need to loosen up. Drink more wine.
What else are you doing other than making wine? Like what's next? What else is on the list?
So I would say first off with me of like what's next in my life, I will never say I know. Because at this point, I never in a million years thought I'd be living in California right now, sitting on a porch. I've moved from like freaking opening a bottle of beer and hanging out with you and drinking wine. I don't know. And I think that's kind of the fun part is I want to live in that. I want to live in like the freedom of hanging out and trying to take the moment and living in it. So it's been fun living in California and being in the wine industry and being a part of so many different wineries' lives and helping them market in a way that I never thought I would have been able to. And so that's been awesome. And working with like the small businesses of today. Can you hear me over the dog panting?
Yes.
Okay. I'm like, but like even today working with cheese board companies and all that has been so this is like classic. If everyone wants to know Hannah in authentic form, we could have taken this 5 times, but this is what we get. And we don't throw it. I was raised correct. We go with the flow. So, but no, that's what I would say firsthand is that I don't know really what my plans are. Do I think I'm going to end up in Napa? I don't think that's my end goal. People ask me all the time, is Napa the goal? And I'm like, no, because there's so many amazing regions in California, which I've learned firsthand that I'm absolutely obsessed with. There's amazing regions in freaking New York City, not New York City, but New York. And I'm enthralled by it all. Maybe I'll be in South America this time next year. I do not want to limit myself because I think that's one of the biggest things we do as humans is that we decide this is where I'm going to be for the rest of my life. And this is the career. Instead of being able to look and be like, I don't know where I'm going to go or what I'm going to do, but I'm going to chase after it and kind of let the pieces fall into place.
You're so much more
I don't know if I'm, what?
29, I was like, I'm very like routine driven. And so I like to know what tomorrow is. I think that that's awesome. When I lived in Napa, that's why I had such a hard time is like branching out and like meeting people. And I feel like they flock to you. You're just that super fun, like charismatic person. That's really cool. You're very brave. Aww. I love that.
Thank you. That's why people liked my wrote wine and shots.
Yes. Exactly.
Well, and that's what I have to say is like my biggest advice for anybody with trying to figure out what you're going to do is jump. You might not know where you're going to end up, but I can tell you is so far in my life, being stagnant is what I was in Alaska. It was so comfortable. I had a great business. I had the big house, white picket fence, the whole 9 yards, and I was not happy.
Yeah.
And like deciding like, okay, I don't know what the heck I'm gonna do with my life. I'm gonna meet these people and be like, oh yeah, I moved to California. I'm living in Airbnbs. I'm homeless. I don't know what I'm doing with my life. Like honestly, I did love it. Like having the nomadic lifestyle, being like, I don't know what I'm gonna do with my life was inspiring. And then seeing so many of my followers and wineries were like, oh my God, actually, I love this. This is what we need. We need to break free from these super, super rigid guidelines, which you've even admitted we put on ourselves.
Yeah. I love that. So you don't know where you're going to be next year, which I like, as long as you take me with you a little bit.
Oh, no, exactly. Do you like how I was like South America? I have no idea where that came from. I'm like, that just came out. It must be the sunglasses. It's my party girl lifestyle right now.
We also have been shooting all day. So you work with brands currently.
Yes.
help promote, but then also you have these happy hours. So the happy hour was a product of COVID. Is that right?
Yes. So, because of the fact that I love to have fun, I love to socialize, and not being able to really socialize as much, I'm also a rule breaker. So I definitely figured out how to socialize. My mom and I hung out every day. We are quarantine exclusives for life. She misses me. So, I would say that it was more of, I needed that interaction with people, and someone actually reached out to me, funny enough, and she was a bartender at one of the bars I used to frequent way too often, because my sister's a bartender too. She's on there. So my sister's a bartender and a speech and language pathologist. It's genetics, you guys. She was like, Hannah, you know so much about wine, but you're so calm and not like snooty. You're just like, whatever, like, let's just hang out and drink. But I can randomly throw off random facts. She said, what if you did like a fun thing and you just kind of taught about wine on Zooms once a week? And that is literally, and her name was Taylor Watson, and she literally launched my happy hours. And I give her all the credit to this day. Is I was like, okay, cool, let's do this. Let's start in Italy. Let's go over Spain. And then from there, it grew to wineries reaching out to me like, can we be on your happy hour? And I'm like, sure.
Yeah.
Like, it made my life a lot easier. I wasn't having to do freaking slideshows. I had slideshows. That's how bored I was. I figured out how to work PowerPoint again. Like, oh my God, like, kill me now. So that was a lot of fun. And
what I do, if I may, is, so there's a lot of virtual tastings going on right now where, you know, the wine mom is like tasting through a flight, and like you have to buy it first, and it's really scripted.
Mm-hmm.
There's like, sure, there's like a winemaker on and you get to talk to them like regular people.
Yes.
But it's really a fun group of people that are really just hanging out to like on a Thursday night. And I can admit I've been there till like 11 one night.
I don't know what I've done. Like, literally, I want to kill 99% of you all that show up. Like, people are like, how many people are there? I'm like, you guys, I took off 3 weeks from my happy hour. Happy hour with Hannah. Hannah doesn't even have to show up anymore. These people show up and break into I always call it, my happy hour is a wine bar or any kind of bar, because people are drinking gin and tonics or whatever. They break in. Yeah, exactly. I'm like, people are taking shots at my happy hour. I'm like, you guys, I have to like 4 warm wineries. I'm like, here's the deal. This group is not your normal group. They're there to hang out, have fun, learn, buy. But it's definitely a chill group that for 3 weeks I took off because I just wanted to hang out with people. They showed up and did their own happy hour with Hannah, and I wasn't even present. They sent me the Zoom link, and I was like, no, guys, I need a break.
And you guys, if you haven't joined, you have to. Because it's seriously, now I really consider some of these people my friends. And it's like,
but you've never even met them.
I've only been on since October, but they know my children. They're like part of the nighttime routine on Thursday nights. Like, it's so much fun. And there is really great wine dialogue too. Like, it's not just a party. It's definitely like a party where there's people that know about wine are there. It's just the best combination.
Well, and that was kind of the thing is I wanted to bring was like, the fact was I never thought in the end I'd ever work in the wine industry, is that I was the girl that would show up with wine at the parties and stuff like that. And then I'd have random trivia facts, not good at pub trivia, forewarning. Oh wait, I just need to point out Nick is the just joined in. You guys, she's from UK and she's my sister-in-law, and I think that's really cool that she's from Europe. Sorry, Nick. And she's pregnant. So I have to announce that. Congratulations.
So,
distracted. But I just want to point out one thing though with the happy hour is that we have reached something that none of us have been able to figure out, is how to make it educational and fun.
You have done that.
Well, I know I'm not going to give myself the credit. It's the fact is it's a community.
Yeah. Well,
that is the one thing is, if you can do a happy hour, I've been to lots of happy hours, and if everybody doesn't feel like they were seen or heard,
yeah,
then cool. Then you were a show and you were the hostess. You might as well done it live.
Well, I think
where everybody feels like they're a part of it and that they're needed. Like, I love texting people who didn't show up. Like, Randy just showed up on this thing, and I text him like, dude, I missed you. Is that it's a community, and I absolutely love that we are friends.
Yeah.
Even if never we met.
I love it. So, happy hour with Hannah is like not going anywhere, right? That's staying.
I can't get rid of it if I wanted to. It's like, I was going to say something. I don't know what I was going to say.
That's okay. And then working with brands, has there been any like big, like aha moments while going through kind of this process as like things that you didn't know or things that people should know that maybe still don't know?
With working with brands, I would say, like, what do you give me an example of like something? I feel like I've worked with so many different things. I've worked with huge brands to super micro boutique brands.
Yeah, sure.
And so that's what I would say is that at the end of the day, I am still in love with the fact of walking into a winery and seeing the husband and the wife pretty much going, okay, I guess we're going to open a winery and this is so dumb or we're going to lose all of our money on this, but you're worth the gamble. Like, I freaking love that and I live for that because I'm a hopeless romantic.
Yeah.
But I would say that was probably been the coolest thing for me is that my heart still goes out for that. So even when I work with bigger brands, like even Corvan and stuff like that, is I love that you have to break it down to where they came from and meet the wife, meet the husband, and sit in their house. And I would say that's my big thing for them is I love the family.
Well, so now you're the person behind Hannah Decanted. So are you single? Are you married? Are you dating anyone? Like, we want to know.
You want to know. Isn't that the question everybody wants to know? It's like the common question in my DMs. I am not married and I am not single.
So is the person that you're not single with, are they on Instagram?
They are.
And are there any, like, were there any preconceived notions of who you were going to be because of that? Or did they see your Instagram after?
No, they saw me before. We didn't meet through Instagram. We meet through mutual friends. Actually, this is my person right here.
That's perfect. He's a lover.
I would say, like, one of the things I do appreciate is don't think I could ever even date someone that DM'd me, slid into my DMs. And that's like, and props to anybody who's actually done that, and I will give you that.
It takes courage.
What?
It takes courage.
No, it does not. God, I find obnoxious. I'm like, cool. Like, you back.
Yeah.
So, yes, we're doing sushi for dinner, Jared. Thank you. That's her husband. But I would say, like, that would be the big thing is, no, we didn't. He saw me on Instagram because someone pointed out and he was going to meet me that night. And so we had an idea of who I was and what I looked like and all that jazz. And that was it. He had no idea who I was. And there's something you say is we always put our different faces onto Instagram, and mine are very professional images and all that.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, so you're putting like one version of yourself.
Yes. Which is definitely, it is who I am. I would totally say that full-heartedly.
On your feed, I think you're more like personal in your stories.
Yes.
Yes. So did you guys talk about it? Like, you and your not single friend, did you guys talk about it? Have you talked about it yet? Like
what? That, like,
is there any, I don't know. So I just, there's any judgment. I mean, you're in a bikini.
Does he judge me? No. He probably thinks it's funny that people call me trashy in a wine house some days. I find it funny.
Does your not single friend think it's funny?
I hope he thinks it's so funny. I get shot. Wine and shots. If you don't think it's funny, then you're probably not with me. That's what I would say firsthand. It's like,
for sure.
I have such a slapstick humor. I'm super sarcastic and I'm a straight shooter. And like, I will do things that are pushing the edge. I'm super comfortable in my skin. And he tells me all the time he loves, thank you, trashy as in. But no, I'm super comfortable in my own skin. And I think he appreciates the fact that I'm willing to push it to the edge and see where I go.
That's cool.
And he's supportive.
Yeah.
And if he's not, then suck to suck, right? He's very sweet about it.
You heard it here first.
If he's not, well, it's awkward because we haven't discussed it. So I would say if it's not on the table, then he's never looking at me like, hey, Hannah, do you feel like you're showing too much skin? No. But I would say is like being in like this world where I definitely push the limits. I have been with people who won't comment, won't like, and won't appreciate it. And that's always been a really hard thing. And I do love the fact that he likes my photos and he does comment on my stories, like things like that. Having a hype squad, I would say, is like professional dating advice for anybody. Like, be your woman's hype squad no matter what.
Well, I think like being supportive and trying to elevate your partners, like, point. Otherwise, like, why be in a relationship?
Well, yeah, exactly. But I've definitely been with guys who are like, no, I'm not going to go like your photo. I'm not going to comment on your stories. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I'm like, and that was always the thing was like having him like my photos, comment, send me cute things on the DMs. It's like, dude, the fact is that's the only person I want to DM me. It's cute. So I appreciate it.
Very cool.
There you go. See, I'm cheesy as all get out.
Oh, no, it's cute. You're human.
I am. I'm definitely human.
Does the wine that you're bottling, does it have a name?
So Miguel and I talked about it a lot. I know you're like, what kind of trashy name is Hannah Colour? It's
No.
not trashy, and it's not that. We have discussed it, Miguel and I, and you and I, with the branding and all, and we're thinking we're just gonna stick with Hannah Decanted because the fact is, I don't know where it's gonna go in life. I've had other wineries, even across the United States, going, are you going to come and work a harvest and make your own wine with us next year?
Ooh.
Again, I never thought in a million years that I would have some opportunities where I'm like, shoot, I can't tell you where I'm going to be in my life. I feel like I'm just going to keep with Hannah Decanted, and this is my first vintage, and so it's going to definitely have Alaska morphing into California being the vibes.
Nice.
I think we're just going to keep it that way. I thought about having like the Rees Reserve. Ooh, First Love. Never mind. That's cute, Randy. Actually, my first love. That's cute. My first wine. Well, I liked it being a Pinot Noir just because that's a grape clone. And I wanted to really represent the fact that when I moved from Alaska to California, super cute story, my sister, the night I was packing my stuff and I was crying my eyes out because I was like, I can't even believe I'm doing this. Like, I'm leaving Alaska. I'm leaving my family. I'm leaving everything I know for no idea what I was doing. Literally nothing. One-way ticket, like, bye, everybody. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm cracked. It's official. I should be in rehab. I'm psychotic. Literally. It really was that bad. So I love the heart. So thank you guys. Give me the loves. I need words of affirmation right now. But I would say that Erica, this is a serious moment. My sister looked at me with tears in her eyes and she goes, Hannah, this is amazing. She goes, you love wine, you love California. And the fact is, what a Pinot Noir grape is, it is literally cutting off the branch and grafting to another and hopefully build something so much more. And she goes, and what we're doing is we're cutting you off from Alaska. And I can't wait to see what you turn into while you're in California. Never in a million freaking years would I have thought that I'd be making a Pinot Noir grape. I'm not making the wine of a Pinot Noir grape. And so I think that's one of the cooler like things I could never saw, some foreshadowing. So that's the thing is I would say with my labeling on this is going to be all Alaska translating into California.
Yeah, that's really cool. My mom is on. Hi, Mom. So is there anything that you think will hold you back from some of what your plans are? Or
no.
At face?
No. I don't know if you know who I am. I'm willing to travel across thousands of miles of oceans to chase my dreams with no plans, no home, no job in life. So, hey, here we are.
I think you're losing internet anyway. Well, cheers. Cheers to a happy Wednesday. Bye, guys.
Cheers. Thank you.